Today's video is all about the high G doubling played in a different style than I have previously instructed. When I first learned the high G doubling, I was taught to play it more like the tail end of a light D throw. Where the two notes, the G and the F, are roughly the same length, both sounding tones, and are a lighter, kind of flowy sounding embellishment, with that first G being more of a sounding tone than a crisp grace note landing smartly on the beat. However, recently, working with a grade 3 pipe band, it's become clear from the pipe major and many other experienced players that in a pipe band setting at this level, most all of the players are playing a G grace note to an F and lifting, playing it more like a catch. With a nice, crisp, tight G grace note, I think it's really great to have more than one way to play this embellishment. So if you want to learn about the previous way I've taught the high G doubling, there's a link right up here and in the description. But today, let's see if we can get this crispier, smaller, catchier type of high G doubling under control. In the description below, there's a link to the PDF document we have here. So go ahead, print that out, put it on a tablet, have it in front of you so you can follow along. The most important thing in today's lesson is really making sure that that initial G is a G grace note, a normal single-fingered G grace note to F. And then from that F, we're going to lift to a G. So what we're going to do through this whole document first is just do a G grace note to F, not even lifting to the G, to make sure that we have a good clean grace note to F and that it's landing smartly on the beat and not early. From there, we're going to add a lift to G, and we're going to just increase the speed in which we get off of the F. So first, we're going to get up to the high G halfway through the beat. Bum, ta, he. The next time, we're going to be only on that F for a quarter of a beat. Bum, ta, dee. Before only being on it for an eighth of a beat or so. In this example, bum, ta, dee. And to be honest, all of the ones in the next measure are all played just like that one right there. They just look different. They're going to be written, well, with two grace notes, but that G grace note is a nice chirpy G grace note. The F is short, but we do want to hear it, and then we're lifting to the G, and then we just have a couple of quite quick ones at the end. And then we're just going to work through the whole scale with this, from E, working all the way down, and then finally ending with the F. I don't have the high A because I have a previous video, boom, right here, where I dealt with the F catch, as I called it at the time, which is how you would do this ornament from a high A, which is just high A, go down to F and lift to a G. When you're doing any of these catching motions from a note underneath, you tend to emphasize the initial catching note, in this case, again, the F, with a G grace note. But we're not going to learn all the catches today. We're going to learn just how to play this nice, chirpy, crispy, pipe band style high G doubling. I do find it interesting that whether you play my older style high G doubling or this high G doubling, neither of them are high G doublings. The only tune I'm aware with a proper high G doubling, with a doubling played in the same manner as, say, a C doubling or an E doubling, is the little cascade. In the bottom line of the part, you can see that right there. That's an actual high G doubling with two grace notes, an A grace note to G and another A grace note to G. That's a doubling played more in the manner of the traditional doublings we've played elsewhere. We're either playing something resembling a light throw or a catch. I personally wouldn't call either of these doublings, but we're stuck with the language we have. And again, I think it's great for pipers everywhere to perhaps have more than one way to express a given embellishment and make it fit within either your playing or what your organization is needing out of your fingerwork. Let's not waste any more time and dive right on into this line one. I have the metronome here set at 63, but you set it at a speed that works for you. And then from there, we're just going to walk down the scale, a D, a C, a B, an A, a low G, and then finally F. I just thought I'd throw that one in at the end. So let's move on to line two. So as you're going through these lines here, things to look out for, try to do your best to make sure that initial G remains a G grace note, a crisp G grace note motion to the F and not a loose open motion. This is meant to be crisp and small, easier to aim together with a group of pipers for certain. So keep that in mind. Try to keep it nice and crispy. Starting on C. and B. And if anyone has questions they want to ask about this, I am available for private instruction. Go ahead and contact me at www.commandyourbagpipe.com or email me down here, and we'll get you going with some lessons. Low A. Low G. And finally, F. There's a couple extra grace notes in the first bar of the one with F because, well, we have to separate the F somehow. I threw a couple extra G grace notes in there just to give us extra practice with that top pointer finger. I've also included the first half of a classic tune, Old Wife of the Mill Dust, where there are tons of high G doublings in the first part of it in particular to start getting these under control in the pipe band style, in that tighter, crispier style where you're landing on the beat with that G grace note. So you can use that as a bit of extra credit or a tune in which to apply this new technique, perhaps a different way of approaching the high G doubling than you'd been playing it before. I wanted to give a shout out to all the members of my Patreon community. You'll see their names now scrolling up. These folks contribute to the channel on a monthly basis. I'd love to add your name to this list. It really helps more than you know. If you enjoyed this video, you might get something out of this one where we talk about the low G and F catch, or this video here where we go into more of a light throw style of a high G doubling so you have variety on this ornament. And don't forget, I also have bagpipe themed merchandise like this lovely mug here, this poster here, and a ton of t-shirts and other stuff, so go check it out. Thank you again for watching, everybody. I'm Matt Willis. Cheers.